Hello. Let's get slightly more code focused music going. We're going to start almost totally from scratch. The only thing that we already have in place is a VS Code installed as the editor, but you can use any text editor if you want. I prefer VS Code. We have Node.js installed, which is basically it lets you use JavaScript, which is one of the main programming languages and how the web works. Lets you use that outside of the web browser. So you can use it for like things like what we'll be doing today, like a Discord bot. And outside of that, we have an account on GitHub, which allows us to basically save our code and save checkpoints in our code. So if we ever need to share it or clone it again in the future, we'll have it. And finally, we have a Discord account because in order to make a Discord bot, you need to have a Discord account so that way you can get authorization to interact with them. Got you back here though, Cheese. So we're starting totally from scratch. So I don't have anything created at all aside from that software, those accounts I just detailed. So let's just get right into it. So I'm gonna do going to call it simple Discord bot. So what I'm doing now is I'm creating a repository on GitHub, which again allows us to do checkpoints and sort of save our code. I'll make it public just in case anybody wants to see the code afterwards. Give it a description if we want. All right. I'm not going to add anything to it. I guess we could. Can add a readme and a git ignore. Git ignore just tells it which files to ignore, so does it have a node? It does. So I'm telling it to use the node template because we'll be coding in a Node.js project. So I'm going to add a dummy readme file. All right, let's create that repository. So I've got simple Discord bot here with some basic info, so that's a good start. So the first thing we want to do is we want to clone this project so that way we can start working on it and then tracking the changes we make. So I'm going to click on this little code window here. I have the GitHub CLI installed, but you could also install it through one of these other means. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to come into my VS Code. It's already in my coding folder. I have a whole folder for it. I'm just going to paste that. Hit enter. Let's see what happens. It says it's here. So let's, yeah, there it is. Sure enough. All right, cool. So let's open that folder so we can get in there. All right, and you see it's got our two files here. Any changes we make will come back to this GitHub page. So that's step one. The next thing we're going to do is I'm in the Discord developer portal. I got here by just searching Discord developer on Google. And they've got this whole separate page where you can actually create an app, you can look at the documentation, and basically learn how to interact with Discord. So we need to do this. We need to create an application, and that's how Discord is going to trust our bot in our Discord server. So let's just go ahead and create a new application here. It's been a very long time since I've done this. I did no prep, no warm-up, because I wanted it to be as organic as possible for when you all try this as well. So let's see. I'm going to do simple Discord bot is what I'm going to call it. SDB is fine. Simple Discord bot I created on my Twitch stream for my wonderful audience. Awesome. Alright, I am going to delete this afterwards, so I don't care that the keys are revealed, but typically you don't want to reveal these keys because then anybody can do it. But in our case, I'm going to end up getting rid of this. But even before that, we're already on a topic that is very important to think about, and that's how do you use a private, I'm going to turn off the music, I'm finding it distracting while I'm talking. How do you use sensitive information like a key or an authorization token in your app, but you don't want that code to be stored in GitHub? So how do you do that? And that's something called environment variables, which we'll be getting into momentarily. All right, so before I do that, we've got our new app. We've got some keys here. We don't really know how to use them yet. So I'm going to go, one more tab I have open is called discord.js. So Discord lets you use a lot of different languages to code bots. I'm going to be using one called discord.js, which is built on the JavaScript language. Although in this project I'll be doing it in TypeScript because I like it more. TypeScript ultimately compiles down into JavaScript, so it's all the same. When you install Node.js, you have a wonderful tool that comes with it called NPM, Node Package Manager, that allows you to very quickly install various libraries. It keeps track of which versions you have installed, and it makes it very easy to distribute your project. And I'll show you how. In VS Code, I'm opening my terminal. And what we want to do is we want to initialize a new project. And to do that, you use the command npm, and I think it's 2/init. Let's see. It's going to ask some basic questions. Nope, that's not it. Let's see what the command is. Is it just 1/? Let's try with a single slash. Npm init. Does that do it? Nope. All right, already to Google. Let's see. Npm initialize new project. What is the command? Is it no slashes at all? Yep, no slashes, just npm init. All right, good to know. Let's do that, npm init, and then I think you can just do y, which will just answer yes automatically to all the questions. Let's see. Yep, it did. One thing you'll see that it added here is the package.json file. This kind of sets up everything for your app. What's really nice about it is it's also going to keep track of what we install. Like watch here if I install discord.js with the command that it shows here. I'm going to type in npm install discord.js, and we're going to watch our file here for just a moment. You're going to see a dependency pop up right there under dependencies. You also might notice this node modules folder here. So every package that gets installed into the node modules folder. You might notice it's a little dark gray compared to the bright white of these other text files. That's because it's being ignored. It's not going to be committed to GitHub. And that's, you can confirm because that git ignore, when I first created my Git repo, has a bunch of stuff preset because we chose the node template. One of those things that is preset is node modules. It says to ignore this folder. The reason being the installed modules are very, very large. It would take a long time to save all of our changes if we were saving that too. The package.json file makes it so anybody else who clones this repository will be able to quickly get it without the node modules, and then simply can just run npm install, and npm will be smart enough to go through every dependency and install it right then and there. So this makes our code distributable without having to actually carry all the weight of the libraries you use, while still making it very easy to use them. So that's a very quick summation of what we did here. We added our discord.js library, and we want to get up and running with it. The next thing I want to do now, so we've got this package.json here. Everything's looking good. We want to install TypeScript. I actually don't remember specifically how to. I believe we install it as a local package we want to use, but I'm going to Google it and look it up. Add TypeScript to project. Let's see what we find. I want to just I know there's an actual TypeScript page. DuckDuckGo failing a bit. Let's see. Yep, TypeScriptlang.org. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, here's the command to install it. You'll see this flag here, save dev, and that's actually an important distinction to make. Watch here again in our file when I install this. npm install TypeScript. I'm going to use the -D. That's the same thing as the save dev flag, but it's just a little shorter. Dust. I broke my soundboard because I uninstalled my audio driver. It was having some issues, but I don't know. I got to insult you. How about? Damn, I can't even insult you. You're just a nice guy. I don't know. Maybe if you keep practicing, you might actually hit one of those shots of those clips you share instead of them always being disappointments, huh? That's all I got. That's all I got. I feel so bad for saying it. I'm so sorry. Please forgive. All right, so we installed TypeScript. Oh yeah, it was just no. Dustin had some good clips. The last one he shared though, he shared a clip saying like, "Imagine how nice this would have been if I hit it." I'm like, bro, that's sick. Thanks for sharing that almost play. I'm just kidding. No more insults. You only paid 100 for that though. What a discount. Like, don't look. He paid for the insult. All right, don't soften the blow for him. Let him get what he paid for. You're literally eating half of his hot dog as I'm handing it to him. Like, let him get what he asked for. All right, let's get back. Let's get back into coding. My apologies, Dust. Dust is the best. He also streams, in case anybody in here for some reason doesn't know that yet. All right, so we installed TypeScript. We told it save dev, and you'll notice it's in a different spot. We've got dev dependencies, and we've got regular dependencies. The distinction being dev dependencies are things you only need when you're working on the code locally, but when the project is actually built, when it's compiled and it's live, you don't need these dependencies anymore. And TypeScript falls under that. Yeah, basically, Dust, I gave you the Machine Gun Kelly Eminem diss. I decided to just compliment you for 3 minutes and call it a diss track. So, yeah, okay, you know every word in the dictionary. You're everybody's favorite rapper. Yeah, got you. You fucking roasted Dust. All right, so yeah, so that's the difference. Is when the app is actually live, it is still going to need Discord.js because that's how we interact with Discord. But we're not going to need TypeScript anymore because we'll be done with it. It's important to install to make this distinction because it also kind of make sure that your app deploys much quicker as well because you're not including all the extra junk, so to speak, that you don't necessarily need. So we've got TypeScript installed now, which is awesome. Now we need to initialize TypeScript. I don't remember the command for that either. I'm really hoping it's going to be in here. It is not. Let's see. Initialize the project. No, not gulp. That's what we need. Create tsconfig. Create tsconfig. There's a command for it. Let's see. Try something else. TypeScript. Create new tsconfig. There's like a command. It's like init or something. There it is. Dash dash init. See, now you can see where my wires are getting crossed here. All right. tsc dash dash init. All right, that gave us a new file here, tsconfig.json. You're seeing a little bit of the hell that can be annoying when starting new projects, especially with JavaScript, is you've got a bunch of these tools and these JSON files, which is a data format that you see here. Makes it very easy to distribute settings and things. So let's see, it's got a couple of settings preset. It has every possible option here. Some of them grayed out. So we're going to uncomment a few of those. The root directory is fine. The out directory is probably going to be dist because that's where all the files are going to be compiled to. Do we need anything else? I think that's all we need to get started. All right, let's do a little bit of a test to see how that goes. All right, so let's do a few things. So first off, we need to add a script. You'll see under my scripts section here, there's nothing there. We want to do one called build. That's just going to be TSC. So that's actually going to compile our code into TypeScript. So we need to actually make a dummy file here first. I'm going to make an index.ts file, TS being the extension for TypeScript. Make it do a console.log. Cheese was in the stream before the streamer was in the stream. All right, just a very basic little tiny bit of JavaScript. Let's do npm run build. That's how you run a custom script you define in the script section. It'll basically just run this command, but it makes it so you don't have to remember that. This should hopefully output a dist folder in here. It did. You see how dist popped up here? It's got an index.js. It's changed a little bit because we didn't really do much yet. But now I should be able to run that. So I should be able to say node. I should be able to say dist slash index.js. Look at that. Cheese was in the stream before the streamer was in the stream. So this is nice. We know that we're going to get a final file that we can ultimately run with Node, but that's not exactly how we want to develop. We don't want to have to build every time just to see these changes as we do it. We want to actually do it in real time. There's another library that helps with this. It's called NodeMon, and essentially it will watch files for changes and automatically do things when it recognizes those changes. So that's what I'm going to be doing now, is trying to install NodeMon and configure it to always recompile TypeScript files when I save them. NodeMon ts node watch TypeScript files. Oh look, gray link. I've been here before. Let's go back. Oh, it just works now? That's awesome. All right, so we need to install a couple of packages. Notice again it's save dev because this is only needed in the development environment. We're installing NodeMon and tsnode. NodeMon does what I just said. It watches files for changes, but it's for JavaScript. tsnode is just an additional tool that kind of just makes NodeMon watch TS files as well. So let's go ahead and do what it's saying. Again, I'm going to use the dash capital D instead of dash s save dev. They do the same thing. tsnode and NodeMon. Let's get those installed. You'll notice now in my package.json, you notice it automatically adds the two new things here that we need, the two new dependencies, which is awesome. Let's see what else we got. My Discord's blowing up. Oh, it's me roasting Dust. I'm so sorry, Dust. All right, so we've got these new packages installed. It says that we can just run NodeMon on a TS file and it just works. Let's test that real quick. So let's write a new script. We're going to call this one dev, which means like when I'm working on development. And we want to do nodemon ./index.ts. We want it to essentially just watch that file. So now we should be able to just say npm run dev, waiting for file changes before starting. tsnode is not recognized as an internal or external command. It's there though. All right, let's just try to make a change real quick. I'm going to add an exclamation mark at the end. Does it do anything? No. All right, let's see why. We installed tsnode, but it's still not happy. Yeah, this is what you used to have to do. This is what I was trying to Google. This like command is like awful. Now it says it just works, but let's see why this particular one is not doing what I want. All right, nodemon tsnode is not recognized as an internal. Let's see what we find. Oh, we need to install it globally, not as a local dependency. Okay. So in my project, we have a list of dependencies, which is fine, but some things need to run regardless of project, and that's what this is here. So if we use the /g flag, that installs it on my computer as a package that every script can use regardless of project. So let me do an install g tsnode like this. We'll install it globally. Let's try running our script one more time. npm run dev. It's watching. Look at that. So it's watching right now. It does exactly what the script should do. Outputs the console statement and is waiting for changes. So if I were to change it, let's just say I wanted to add another console.log and say, Dust, I am so sorry. Please forgive me, my boy. And then save it. It should, you see how it automatically updates here. It automatically saves the changes and does what I want to do. So now we can develop and we can just leave this running and I can just keep developing this code and it will keep updating automatically while we work so I can see my changes in real time. So far so good. I'm really happy with where we are and where we started. And this would be a good spot to do a checkpoint. We have a very basic file up. In VS Code, I'm going to click this icon here for source control. And what it does is it shows all the changes that have been made in this project. So for instance, I can click on index. It'll say it started as a blank file and now it's got these two lines in it. It says we're adding a package lock.json, we're adding a package.json, we're adding a tsconfig. These are all the changes that have been in the project since I've saved. And I'm going to say initial commit as my message for it. I'm going to hit check, which will stage those changes. And then once those are staged, I can go to sync changes. So I'm going to do that real quick. And when it's done, you'll see in just a moment. I'm going to go back to my GitHub page. Right now it only has these two things in it, but momentarily it should sync. Why is my internet going so slow? Maybe because I'm streaming. Let's give it a refresh. You'll see that the files are here now. So everything that I've done so far, the changes I've made, are now in GitHub. What makes GitHub really nice, it says my most recent commit was the message initial commit. I can actually go back and see all of the other commits. So my first one was called initial commit, and then the one 20 minutes ago as well. And at any point, I can go back and I can actually look at all of the code at that checkpoint. I can even go through and make a review of all the stuff that was changed in each particular commit. So what you get is a series of checkpoints you can go back through and evaluate or reset to, or whatever you might need to do with your code. So you can try something, and if you mess it up, you can always go back later. So that's cool. We've got that working. So great. So GitHub set up. We made our first checkpoint. So let's find out now, how do we start using Discord.js? So we created a new app in Discord, but we haven't done anything with these keys yet. The reason being, I don't actually know what values we need to use and how we get started. So the best way to do that is to start working with this Discord.js library, find out what does it tell us about how to connect. Let's go under documentation. We added Discord.js already. Optional packages, that's fine. We'll leave those out. Says these are required. What the fuck? And I guess I do need that one. So we'll just install these two. So I'm just going to copy these there. I'm going to stop our server real quick. npm install. Let's get those two packages as well that it's telling us we need. Let's install those real quick. I'm trying to bring the music back in a little bit now. All right, those are installed. Register a / command against the Discord API. That's literally what we're trying to do. So that's awesome. But where is the actual creation of our... Okay, so this is just creating a command, and then they're going to use it here where we create the client, I guess. Wow, this has changed a lot since the last time I've used it. Alright, so how do we actually connect to the client? That's where it needs the client ID. Is that really all it needs? And is that what I have here? That just seems like a little weird. I expected to have to give it like more credentials to interact with it, but it looks like we don't have to. Installation optional, example usage. This is it. All right, well this might be really easy. Let's just copy this first. It says register a / command. So I'm going to create a new folder here. Let's just call it commands. Make a new file. I'm going to call it example.ts because I just want to have this backed up in case we need it. What the hell's the guild ID? This is literally all the documentation. This doesn't feel as good as it used to be. By using a different library before? Let's see. I feel like I used to use something else. No, it's just this. Okay. changes. Oh, it can't have Discord in the usual name in the username. All right, I'm gonna call it Squishy Simple Bot. Save those changes. All right, name is set. All right, I'm gonna regenerate the token now. That's my 2FA code. Let's get that in. So again, I'm doing what's in the docs here. I'm just not showing it because I don't want to leak my credentials to the world. But what I'm doing is I am a sample environment file to kind of show you what it looks like without actually leaking it. Just bear with me, we'll be back up in just a minute, just keeping this private. So we've got our token. I think there's also like an application ID or a client ID we need. Let's see. General info. We get that application ID in there as well. Refresh that page. Alright, I think we should be good now. Thanks for your patience, chat. Yeah, you are being told there's no face cam there, so sorry. Alright, so I've got a sample environment file here. So essentially the key was just like a random series of numbers. So I could just do like this. Like it just looks like this. There's no need for quotes or anything. And the secret was just like this. It looks something like this is how I filled mine out. Yours is going to be though with the values from the Discord developer panel when you create your own bot. So I put mine in like that. I'm going to get rid of that sample because we don't actually need it. But I know now that I have access to these environment variables when I need them without actually having to commit them to the library. So I've got my bot created. Yep, we did that. Adding your bot to servers. The basic version of one such link is like this. Okay, so this is the link that we want to use. But we need to plug in our client ID. That part is not private. This can just be there. So I'm going to plug that in. The dogs are barking. Now I should be able to copy that link and just open it to invite it to a server. Let's see. Oops. Let's see. Oh, it wants me to sign it again. Let me find out. Give me one quick second to sort this out. Alright, so let's try out the invite here. So now it's asking me what server I want to invite it to. I have one called Puggy, there it is. Alright, authorize. I want it to come in. I am human. Okay, says it's good. Let me double check real quick. Is my bot here? Oh, look at that. Squishy Simple Bot is now in this test Discord server I created. So that's awesome. Alright, so we're making progress. So the bot is alive. It's in the server. We did the invite link. So that's how we can invite it to other servers if we want. We're not going to worry about that yet. We're making progress where we want. Cool. Creating your bot initial files. Oh, it has a whole section here basically doing what I was telling you all about, installing .env and everything to use environment variables. So that's awesome. It's all right here in the docs. All right, creating the main file. This is what I was looking for. So this is how we actually log in with the Discord servers on behalf of our bot. So I'm going to copy this. All right, we're pasting it in. Let's see, everything appears to be working so far. So this should start it, except token is not coming in from a config. This is my, where I need to use my environment variables. This is process.env.discord client secret. Should do it. Once it's logged in, I should get a log that says it's ready. So let's try it out. Let's just run it and see if the bot comes online. Or if we get an error. It says ready. Let's confirm that. I'm going to go back into my Discord. Pull up my people here. Ah, look, the bot showing is online now. So we're making progress. It's alive. Awesome. So we've got the first part down. Alright, creating commands. Look, we're just going right through the documentation. It's amazing how much you can do if you're just simply willing to read and go through these steps. So we're already making some really good progress. We'll cover only the bare minimum to get you started, but you can refer to our in-depth page on registering /commands for further details. Alright, it tells us to create a deploy commands file, so why don't we try that? It wants us to do .js. We're doing TypeScript, so we can do .ts. It shouldn't matter. Create new file, deploy commands.ts. Great, and it wants us to install these additional packages. So I'm going to copy that, and in our terminal, in this folder, the simple Discord bot folder we've been using, I'm going to install those 3 types. Or those 3 packages, I should say. Should be more specific. How do I get my guild ID, I wonder? Let's go into my server properties. There must be a way to get the ID here. I could just Google it, and I probably should. I may do that soon. Let's see. Alright, not seeing anything here. Let's Google it. Discord, how to get guild ID. User settings, I was on the advanced. We have to enable developer mode. Okay. Server settings. I'm not even seeing advanced. What the hell? Oh, because it's not a server setting, it's a user setting. I already have developer mode on. Alright, so we should be able to right click on it. Oh, copy ID. Durr. Okay. There we go. Alright, I'm going to blank away real quick, so I'm going to create one more environment variable. This one is going to be just for my guild ID. Although it's not private, I'm still going to keep it in that same file. So I'm going to make a new, called Discord Guild ID. Paste that in there, and I'm going to close this file real quick. Come back on stream. Alright, so I just added one more environment variable. Again, just in case you're not sure what that looks like. I just have a file where you can define your variable names like this. And so I just added that into my other env file. You can do one after another on lines, nothing special. And this will be able so we can use these commands without saving them to GitHub, again, which is important because we don't want anybody just finding our tokens and being able to use our bot to do malicious things on other servers. So it's very important that you don't actually leak this data out anywhere. All right, so we got our guild ID. That was the next impediment we had. Commands is an array of commands to register. The /command builder and Discord JS builders package is used to build the data for your commands. All right. In order to get your client and guild IDs, open this. Oh, Jesus Christ. If I just read ahead instead of just like Googling and like being an asshole, I would have just seen exactly what I needed right here. Literally. Remember all that stuff I said, like it's amazing what you can do if you read the documentation? This is double. Alright, so they made their config.json look very similar to what I do with my .env. Formatted a bit differently, they both do the same thing. So it's giving us a bunch of other stuff to add here. This is under the deploy commands file it had us create. So I'm going to copy this. Let's put it in that deploy commands file that I created. The only difference being I use .ts. They have .js, but that shouldn't matter. Oh, it doesn't like that it's called like capital rest, lowercase rest. Alright, so a couple of things. It's using like the old style imports where you have to use require. That's not really how we do things anymore. So let's do import from @Discord JS builders. Do /command builder. So this works the exact same as the require. It's just the new way of doing imports. It's a little nicer. We're going to do this for the rest of them too. We could just clean it up here. We could say import rest from that. Let's put this back up top. And you'll see it's already getting happier about these errors. We just need to fix this. Instead of saying const, we're going to say import routes from. So I'm not covering every basic JavaScript thing here, but if there's any specific questions, I'm happy to help. But essentially, we're just importing the specific files we need from the packages we installed. So 2020. Alright, so we've got a couple of errors, a couple squiggly texts here. First off, the token is blanked out, but that's because we're not importing it from a config like they are. We have it in our environment variables. So I'm going to say process.env, which is how we access them, dot the variable name. Discord client secret is going to go where the token goes. It's got an error. It says argument of type string or undefined is not assignable to string. So what it's saying is this function set token expects a string. TypeScript is saying it's possible that this environment variable might not exist, and therefore it could break this function. I know it exists. I created it, so I'm going to explicitly tell TypeScript this is a string. I'm saying as string after it to say I know it's defined. We don't have to worry about the fact that it could be undefined, so that's good. And in fact, I'm going to simplify this a bit more because this is going to be a problem with the client ID and guild ID as well. So what I'm going to do is just define the variables at the top. Const token equals process.env.discord client secret as string. I say const client ID equals process.env.discord client ID as string. Then I'm going to say const guild ID equals process.env.discord guild ID as string. Now we can just simply token there like they had before. You see the client ID and guild ID errors are immediately fixed because I defined them up here. So far so good. So we've got all of our values in there. This is a basic command. Looks like it's building a couple. It's building a server command, a ping command, and a user command. We can leave those for now. It's creating a way for the... This is a lot different from when I built the bot last. It's creating like a REST API that we can reach out to. Adding the commands to it. Saying it's successfully registered. And it's outputting any errors if we have them. Alright, so far we're following what it said and it looks pretty good. Okay, so it looks like we need to do this every time we add new commands. So instead of just typing this once and possibly forgetting about it, I'm going to add it as a script. So if you remember again, npm gives us the package.json file to add scripts. I'm going to add one, and I'm going to call it add command. And this is node deploy. It's actually, I'm going to do / to say from this directory. Probably doesn't matter, but it makes me feel better. Oh, it's got to do it on the built one, right? Because I don't think it'll just work like this. Ah, so this does need to be. Let me think on this, because I don't think it will just work if we do node. Let's do, we may have to deploy it first. Might have to do npm run build, and once it's built, then we do node /dist / deploy commands .js. That should run it after it's built, and it should register the commands. I don't know if that's going to work or not. Let's find out. npm run add command. It was compiling the TypeScript out, but found 2 errors. Oh, in my example file, it doesn't like it's broken. All right, let's just take that out real quick. Let me get rid of my commands folder because I did that before I knew what we were doing. Let's try it one more time. I'm going to hit the up arrow to do the last command. Been a little more than an hour, but we're still trying here. Expected token to be set for this request, but none was present. I know why, because I did not include my .env package at the top, which is how these environment variables become available in the first place. Let me add that in there. Let's try one more time. We're going to run it again. 3rd time's a charm. It's compiling the TypeScript. Ah, there we go. Successfully registered application commands. So we had to do a little bit of a workaround because I used TypeScript. However, it wants us to run this file one time, but we can't just run TypeScript with Node like it wanted. We have to make it a JavaScript file. So I could either convert my file to JavaScript manually, just call it .js, which means I would lose all the benefits of TypeScript, which I like, or I need to compile the TypeScript first and then run the command. So this is where npm is really cool again. I created a new script called add command. I told it to run the other script I created called build, which compiles the TypeScript. And then using the double ampersands, I appended another command to run after it. And that's why it looks very similar to their command, except I told it to go into the distribution folder, the dist folder, which I told TypeScript to create when it's compiled, and then run the deploy commands.js that it created there. So a little bit more complex than that, but overall I'm used to TypeScript and I like it, and it's worth it to me. If you were doing just JavaScript, you wouldn't have that headache, but you would probably have many more headaches as you work on your project. So now, as long as I remember every time that we create a new command, that we need to make sure we run that once, should be good. All right, replying to commands. Okay, so it's getting us to add some stuff into our main bot here to actually reply to commands. It looks like all that's different is this little block, so let's copy it. Let's go into our index. Let's paste it right where it has it. Async interaction. It doesn't know what type interaction is. Let's see if we get any types with this. Let's see, Discord interaction. Is there anything that's coming up? There is, so if I start typing interaction, I do see a type called interaction, and it's in Discord. Let's try bringing that in. Cool. Alright, so now it knows kind of what this variable looks like without having to do anything. What that's nice is that I now get IntelliSense. This is one of the good things that TypeScript does. If I type interaction dot, it automatically knows all of the things I can do with interaction, because I told it interaction is of this type interaction, which this library, discord.js, comes with its types. Now I have autocomplete for everything that this variable could possibly contain, which means any errors I make now and typos or anything else, I'll catch now and be able to fix, rather than it possibly going live in my code and causing some bugs that I wouldn't be aware of. So it looks like what we've added here is it's basically saying on an interaction create. So when an interaction happens with Discord, it's going to parse the command name from the interaction, and it's basically just saying if the command is ping, respond with pong. If it's server, await for the reply server info. If it's user, await the reply user info. This again is defined here. Okay, so here we're just giving a description and a name, but we're not actually doing anything with each of these commands. We're actually specifying the command behavior here. All right, so that's interesting. So we should already then have a working bot. Let's try it out. We're about done with this. It says it's ready. I'm going to open up my Discord here. I'm going to type exclamation ping. Is it slash? Or was it slash? It says a slash command slash ping. It says pong. If I do slash user. All right. So we've actually got it working. So now the original request, the whole reason we did this is we need a command called squishy. New slash command builder dot set name squishy dot set description lies with how old squishy is. Alright, so we added a new command. You know what that means? We need to run that script we created. npm run add command. Let's let that go real quick. Okay, it's registered. Great. Let's go in now. Let's do an interaction for the command. I really hate if-else statements like this. They're really ugly to me. Another way that we could write this is to use a switch statement. We can say switch command name, which basically means go through all the different types of command names. And we say case ping await interaction dot reply pong break. Something about it, just I like it how it looks better. So case server. We have to do break or else it will go to the next line. Case user. We do need a default case. Perfect. And now let's just add in a case for squishy. Await interaction dot reply. We're going to use these backticks, these tildes, instead of the single quotes, because that allows us to insert variables inside of our text. Now this is using a random, which is kind of cool. What we're going to say is squishy is, let's see, squishy age years old. Now it doesn't know what squishy age is, so let's create a new variable for that. I'm going to do const squishy age, and let's just start it at 38. And it's not going to be a constant anymore, it's going to be a let, because we are going to modify it. Const means it can't change, let means it can. So we're going to say it's going to increment squishy age by 1. Squishy age plus plus, that's the same thing as plus equals to 1. Or, if you want to be more verbose, like that. So you could write it like that. You could write it like this. Or you could write it like... All of these three do the exact same thing. I'm going to use squishy age plus plus because that's more familiar to a lot of people. So this should increment my age by 1 and then respond with the age. Now when we stop the app and start it again, it is going to forget the age. We can get over this by creating a local file that we read or write for our data. So that way it persists between executions. We're not going to worry about that for now. I wanted you all to see just at least how to get started making a bot. So let's test it out. We're going to do npm run dev. We're going to wait for it to say ready. It's ready. Let's go into our server. Let's do slash squishy. Notice how it's coming up, and it even has our description here. Squishy's 39 years old. Let's do one more. Slash squishy. Uh-oh. Did we break something? Oh, interaction already replied. So what, does it not want us to... Does it not want us to reply more than once? What is this? The reply to this interaction has already been sent or deferred. What the hell does that mean? Let's find out. Okay, they actually have us modifying the other stuff too. All right, let's do that real quick. Let's just add in, first let's add in their commands that they want us to use here. So under server, they did it like this. Says it could be null. We get around that in TypeScript by using the optional indicator. That means what its error is it's saying guild could be null. And if guild is null, there's no property called name. You can get around this by essentially saying, you know, there's a chance it might be null, so don't worry. So only fill this in if guild is not null, and it gets around that error. So that's fine. Let's do the same thing for the user info. And before I go Googling things, I'm going to read through the documentation just a bit more because I want to know why it's not... Okay, so it's basically saying the way they're handling it is not as efficient. All right, and it gives us like even more advanced ways to go through and handle interactions. That's fine. We're not going to get into this for now. We just wanted a basic bot. We could pursue this more later. What I want to look up is this error I'm getting. Discord.js interaction already replied. What the hell is that and how do we get it? Go right to the answers. No, I didn't. I waited it right here. I wonder if I have to actually increment it in here. I wonder if I have to do it like within the await. Let's try again. All right, let's run it again. Oh no, it is running now. All right, let's try again. So squishy. It's 38. Let's run it again. Still doesn't like that. I wonder why. Let's see what is up. So I did await. So there's something else going on with our code. Let's see. We're so close to finishing this. Let's see if we can figure out why this is. Give me 1 second. I got a phone call to voicemail. Let me just see what bot this is. All right, let's see if we can figure out this last one. Use interaction.followup instead of interaction.reply. Let's try it. All right, we've reloaded. Let's see. What happens if we do ping multiple times? Oh, do /ping. Does pong. We should do /ping again. Does pong again. So what the hell? Why does it have a problem with mine? Let's go check out our code and make sure we didn't do anything different. Only thing different so far is the reply. That's fine. How did we register it? Almost good there. All right, let's try again. All right, well, this was supposed to be easy, but it's very unhappy right now. I wonder if it has something to do with the variable stuff. What if I just never change it? What if I just say to include the variable? And then we just do dot reply like before. Will it keep running? So start the server again. So we stopped it and starting it. That's Dust calling back. I'm so sorry, Dust. Let's see. /squishy. Works. Can we do /squishy again? It just only lets you do it. Why is it only doing it once for my command, but the others work? Like I could do /user, right? No, it doesn't like that either. Okay, so something is unhappy here. A lot of people complaining about it though. Let's see why. I wonder if it's because of the switch statement. I wonder if that's what it is. Alright, let's try going back to the if statement and just see if that's what it is. We'll say now I should be able to just say squishy age plus here. That's gonna keep it in the same line. It doesn't really hurt to have it down here. Alright, let's see if that does anything. 38. 39. Okay, so it just didn't like the switch statement. That's really weird. I wasn't expecting that, but you can see now, each time we do squishy, it increments by 1. And we did it. We made a basic Twitch bot that does the squishy command, as Jordo suggested. For fun, let's add one more command. So I'm going to hit Control C to stop this. Let's add another command in here. New /command builder dot set name dong dot set description. What you slanging? Alright, we need to run our add command script that we created. Awesome, it's added. Now let's account for it. Else if command name equals dong. There was a nice little random segment. I have GitHub Copilot, which automatically fills code in for me, but it's not going to anymore. So I'm going to create a function that does a random number. So let's do function random number. It's going to have a min. That's a number. It's going to have a max. That's a number. It should auto-complete the code here. There it is. And we're going to say random number between 1 inch and let's say 12 inches. And we'll add the word dong to it. But we could also say, how do you get like a user's name? So if interaction.user.tag equals moon is Kring, await interaction.reply in fact, we'll just code a new value in here. Const poor moon equals 0.5. Then we'll just say use the poor moon variable. Now we can't test this, but if Moon were to use this particular bot, presuming I got his Discord tag right, it would always give him 0.5. You know, to be really, really funny, we can actually make it a random number between two numbers. Let's say 0.4 and 0.7. So that way it won't always be the same. There'll be some variety. But for everyone else, it'll be between 1 and 12. Let's run it real quick. Right, let's get in there. Let's try it. /dong. Wow, my own bot gave me a 3. Oh, but it says 3 dong. It doesn't say inches. It's just like you got 3 dong. Sheesh. Alright, that's more than I was hoping for. Inch. Mulligan. Let's try one more time. 8-inch dong. Alright. So that's it. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the stream. I wanted to do something quick to show how easy it is to very quickly spin something up that you could then expand upon when making a Discord bot. It's not really that hard. A lot of it was more of us just reading the documentation and building out the initial project. But some key takeaways. VS Code for the code editor. Let's save the final changes we did to GitHub. We can say, got a working Discord bot. Stage those files. Stop the bot for now. I'm going to upload this to GitHub. So again, some takeaways. VS Code lets us edit our files just like this. We created a Git repo already that we covered earlier that allows us to save our changes. So you see here we have a commit history of everything that we've done so far, and as we keep making changes, it'll add on to this. We created our bot in Discord that allows us to interact with Discord in this way. And yeah, here it is. We've got working code. So what I'm going to do is, in case anybody wants it, the code is open source here. I'll paste that in chat. That's where the code lives, so you can find it. You can even clone it to your own computer by, when visiting this page, clicking this and choosing either HTTPS to copy it, SSH, which you probably won't do because you probably don't have that set up, or the GitHub CLI if you haven't installed. Or you can even download it as a zip, extract it somewhere, and then open it in VS Code. All of those options will give you access to this code. You can also just click on any file you want and look at it in real time. So this is actually hard-coded into the repo now, so hopefully Moon sees it at some point. But that's it. So we made a Discord bot, everyone. It's got the not too bad. Most of it was just copy and paste, a little bit of tweaking. But I hope you all enjoyed that. I hope it was fun actually seeing a project from start to finish with some organic hurdles involved. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me on Discord, or any suggestions, let me know, and we will. I can make another bot or another tool or some other app that you all might like on stream. And I want to do more of this. So yeah, appreciate y'all. Hope you have a good night. Thank you, Cheese. I'll see y'all around.